This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everyone. So in today's class, we are going to see how to navigate between the views on click of the buttons. So previously, we have seen how this particular views can be navigated from one page to other page by changing the URL pattern, right? So let me just run this application. So let it load. Yep. So here, if I change the URL pattern to slash second view, so you can see that the second view is getting loaded. And if I remove this, you can see that the first view is getting loaded. Okay. So that's how, basing on the pattern, the router will pick the exact view and load that view into the view container. And in the output, you cannot see view container, even though that is present. All right. Now let us see how you can navigate between these views when you click on the buttons. So for that, I'm going to write our first UI element, and that is button. So before I write the button, so you need to understand the syntax of writing any UI element. So the syntax is every UI element can have properties, and it can also have something called aggregations, and it can also have something called events or simply actions. So you can call them as events or actions, no problem. Now you need to understand what are properties, what are aggregations, and what are events of a UI element. Now this is not compulsory that every UI element should contain all of them. No. Some UI element contains only properties, they do not contain aggregations, they do not contain events. Some UI elements contains only aggregation, they do not contain properties. So basing on the particular UI element, what exactly it does, so these will vary. But on a overall level, what you need to understand is any UI element will may contain the properties, aggregations, and events, and may not contain also. Okay. So it varies from one UI element to the other UI element basing on what exactly it does. Okay. Now let us understand what are properties, aggregations, and events. The property of a UI element directly reflects its appearance in the output or its behavior in the output, and that is what is called as a property of a UI element. Any property of a UI element has its direct reflection in the output, how it is shown on the output. That is called as a property. Once again, so property means it will have a direct reflection when you keep some property, it will have the direct appearance in the output. And basing on the UI element, various UI elements have various properties. Second one, aggregation. Aggregation means if a UI element has a subpart, then those subparts are called as aggregations. And this is not compulsory that every UI element should contain some subpart. If you want me to give an example, if you take house as a UI element, now this house has subparts like hall, master bedroom, kitchen, child bedroom, balcony, wash area. So all these are the subparts of house, isn't it? Similarly, a UI element can contain some subparts inside it, and these subparts are called as aggregations. In simple words, The subparts of a UI element are called as aggregations. Okay, right. So probably you will understand, maybe in tomorrow's class I will show you with a UI element which is having the subpart. Third one, events. Now what is this event? Any action that you can perform on that particular UI element are called as events or actions. On these events are predefined by SAP. That means the event names are predefined by SAP. So you need to use those names only. And on those actions, when the end user performs some event or action, what should happen? What is your requirement? So that logic you can write in the controller of that particular view. So if you want me to define what is an event or action, any uh, anything that the end user can perform with the use of mouse or the keyboard, they are called actions. Let me give you some examples for the actions. Pressing a button is an action. Selecting a row from the table is an action. Selecting a value from the drop down is an action. Checking a radio button is an action. Checking a checkbox is an action. So like this, you have many actions in SAP UI5. And all these actions are predefined, and actions will differ from UI element to UI element. Because for the button you can press, for the checkbox you can select, right? So basing on the UI element, the actions will differ. So this is what is every UI element will contain: properties, aggregations, and events. Okay, now let us start writing our first UI element, which is button. Now syntax. Every UI element starts with a opening tag and the UI element name. So the moment you type the UI element name, our SAP Business Application Studio, even SAP Web IDE also give the auto suggestion. Okay, so you can select it from the auto suggestion button. Now the syntax is the UI element name must and should starts with a capital letter. Okay, so if you are automatically choosing the suggestion by default comes with a capital letter. So remember, if a tag started with a capital letter, that means it's a UI element. Okay. After the UI element, you need to give a space, and after the space, you can type either properties or aggregation or events in any order, no problem. Now I am going to type one property of the button, and that is called text. So always try to use the auto code completion so that you will not end up with errors. Now I'm giving the text as go to second view. Go to second view. All right. So this is my button. Save it and have a look at the output once. All right. Now you can see the text on the button has changed. This is called the property of the UI element. As I told you, the property of a UI element will have the direct reflection in the output. I have given text equal to go to second view, and immediately you can see the text appeared on the button. Now, button does not have any aggregations, my dear friends. It does not have any aggregations, means subparts. Button does not have any subpart, but button has actions. So what is the action of the button that is given by SAP? And that is press. So press means when you press the button. What is the meaning of press? Press means when you press the button. So whenever the end user press the button, this action get executed, and you can assign, for this particular action you can assign some function, And with the same name of the function, you can write the logic in the controller. For example, I'm keeping on press. Okay, there is no rule that you need to give on press only. This is your own function name, your own function name, and you can write whatever you want. You can write ABCD, you can write Rizwan also over there. But the left hand side press is a predefined action name which indicates that when the end user press this button, when the end user press this particular button, which controller function I should call, that is a meaning. Okay, so since you have given on press, now what this framework will do, if the end user press this button, since this press is assigned to this function on press, so it will go to the controller and check whether there is a on press function and the logic inside. Is it there? No, there is no function available. So we need to, so obviously function will not be available. We need to define. Now let us see the syntax of defining a JavaScript function in SAP UI5. So you need to keep the function name first. Remember the same name, whatever you have assigned, same name you need to put it here. If you give some name here and if you define some other name here, then this function will not be called. Right, so first name of the function followed by colon and then the function keyword to indicate that it's a function, and round brackets are part of the function syntax. Open curly braces to indicate that this is the start of the function, and closing curly braces indicates the end of the function. Okay, so this is our first function that we have written in the JavaScript. So very simple syntax, guys. SAP UI5 follows very simple syntax. You no need to worry. Once again, function name followed by colon and then function keyword with round brackets, curly open braces indicating the start of the function, curly closing braces to indicate end of the function. Okay, some people call this as curly braces, some people call this as flower bracket. Okay, so whatever you feel. Fine. Now let us see if this function gets executed or not by using one simple test statement, let. So this should not be used as a part of the production, but this is just a testing statement. What this alert will do, alert will give you a alert box whenever you want to test whether the function is getting called or not, whether the execution is getting into this function or not. So you can just keep a alert statement as well. Now let us let us see. All right, I'm clicking this button and you can see the alert box has come. This is called alert box, and I can see whatever I have written inside. I have written testing, and the same testing is appearing here. That means on click of this button, it is successfully calling this function. Okay, so once again, my dear friends, the new beginners, people think like I need to give on press only. This is press, so I need to give on press only. No, you can give ABCD also here. This is your own function name. Okay, so let me just show you by keeping ABCD. So why I'm keeping ABCD? Because in the past batches, people think, they thought like, okay, this is press, so I need to give on press only. No, that's your function name. That's it. You can give anything. Okay, see, it's working. All right. But anyway, we give some meaningful names instead of some uh, stupid names. All right, on press. Okay. Or probably if you want to give more meaningful name, you can write on press button like that. Now I'm going to write one statement inside. Let me complete the statement and then I will explain what that statement will do. So this dot get owner component dot get router dot nav2, and we will tell the router to navigate to second view. So to tell the router to navigate to the second view, we need to tell the router which route it has to take. So this is the route it has to take. So we need to keep this one. I will explain the complete statement. You please don't worry. All right. Now, if I click this button, go to second view, so you can see that it is navigating to the view 2. It is not only navigating to the view 2, but also if you see the URL, it is changing the URL pattern also automatically. Isn't it? All right. Now I do not have the back button in the application. So to navigate back, as of now, I will remove this and I will come to the first view because I did not get a back button. Okay. Now let us understand this particular statement. So very important to understand the concept of each and every word that you are typing in SAP UI5. Okay. So in our training, that is a specialty. You will understand each and every word letter that you have typed. This in SAP UI5, wherever you find the word this, you need to understand that it is pointing to the current file. This exactly meant by an object of the same file, object of the current file, but you can simply assume it like a current file as this. Okay, so this means view1 controller. Let's say the keyword this is present in the view2 controller, then what is this? This becomes view2 controller. So simply wherever you find the word this, immediately you need to understand that this means current file. So the current file might be view1 controller, it might be component, it might be view2 controller, does not matter. Okay, so any JavaScript file can contain this, and this means current file. Okay, right. Next, this dot get owner component. So get owner component, this particular function will get the global controller. And who is the global controller? The global controller is component.js. Okay, so this means view1 controller, view1 controller dot get owner component means who is the global controller for view1 component.js. Not only for view1, even for view 2, even for view 3, even for any number of views. Who is the owner component? Component.js. So if you write this particular statement, this dot get owner component does not matter in any controller. You will reach component.js. You will go to component.js. Understand? Okay. So now this dot get owner component is pointing to the component.js. Fine. But why did we reach component.js? What is the need of reaching to the component.js? The reason is to navigate from any view to any view, the router is responsible. The router simply pick the view from the view folder and load the required view into the view container, isn't it? This is we already learned as a part of the complete flow of execution. So if at all you want to navigate from any view to any view, you need to reach the router first. Now tell me, where is the router? The router is present in manifest.json. Okay, but is manifest.json is a JavaScript file? No, it is just a configuration file. Most of the people, by looking at JSON, they think it is JavaScript file. No, JavaScript file ends with .js. This is configuration file, which is .json. Okay, right. So your routing configuration is mentioned in manifest.json. That is fine. But who is loading this entire manifest.json? Component.js, isn't it? Who is calling your manifest.json? Your manifest.json is loaded inside the component.js. So actually, this particular manifest.json entire configuration, whatever is there, at runtime, it will go and sit at line number 15. It will go and sit at line number 15. Indirectly, all the configuration, whatever that is present in manifest.json, it is part of component.js only. Okay, so at runtime, what happens? All this configuration will come and sit at line number 15 like this. So it will come and sit at line number 15 like this. Okay, right. So that means your router configuration, which is present in manifest.json, is actually at runtime where it is getting loaded. It is getting loaded in the component.js only. So if you want to reach router, you need to reach component.js because router is a property of component.js. Once you reach the component.js, now you can ask, you can request the component.js, hey Mr. Component, give me the router. So by saying get router. And once you get the router, the moment you get the router has a nice nav2 function. Okay. And this nav2 function means navigate to. So the nav2 function will look for a route name through which it can reach the target. So here there are two routes. This is first route and this is another route. Every route will have some name. Now you need to guide the router which route it has to take, whether it has to take the route view 1 or route view 2. Now I have given the route view 2. The moment you have given the route view 2, so indirectly you are instructing the router, boss, hey Mr. Router, you need to follow this particular route. Now what this router will do, the router simply blindly follow that particular route, and when it follow that particular route, what happens? It calls the target. Okay, and it changes the pattern also to that particular view. Okay, so now I have given this root view 2. So what it does, it calls the target. The target is target view 2, and the target view 2 is loading the view 2. So once the view 2 has been loaded, so this is view 2. So once it is loaded, your router will append this particular pattern also. The router will change the pattern to slash second view. Okay, so that's 1 second. Let me just preview. I think when I just click on this one moved to the other place, and because of that, the application ran into a error. Failed to read manifest.json for the project. I think there's some change happened in the manifest.json because of which it is not running. So what while explaining, did I? So it does. It's not showing any errors, right? Only what happened to this? So let me just try preview the application once again. Yeah, now it is running. All right, so that is how you need to navigate from one view to the other view. So you need to write this dot get owner component. I hope you understand the complete line. So this means current file. On the current file dot get owner component points to the global controller. So if you write this statement, this dot get owner component on any controller, so you will reach component.js. So you need to request the component.js to give the router by using get router. So once you get the router, you need to say, hey, Mr. Router, navigate to, and then guide the router with the appropriate route. So there are two routes here. If you take this route, you will land up in the view one, but that is not our requirement. So if you take this route, you will land up in the view two. Okay, so I have given this particular route name. So remember, the router will accept only the nav to function will accept only the route names. You should not give anything else. All right. Now a question to the audience. Let me see who will answer this. In the line number 28, to initialize the router, here we have used this dot get router dot initialize. Okay. To reach the router, here we used this dot get router, but to reach the router, I have used this dot get owner component dot get router. Can anybody tell me why I have not written this dot get owner component dot get router here?
It's in the
This is
component.js. It is in the
this is
global.
already
It's already in the
That
global.
yes. So here this means component.js itself. So when it is already component.js, why I will write again get owner component? Not required. Okay. So this is already component.js. So you can simply get the router and you can initialize the router. All right. So that's the reason now. It's nice that you understand the concept. All right. So this is how you can navigate from one view to the other view. Now you can also keep a button in the second view and navigate back. Now I'm going to the view two, and I'm going to create a button. So I'll just copy paste this code because we already written the same code. So I will be doing some copy paste only when I already typed the code in the one of the previous class. Okay, but it is a new code. I will type. Definitely, I will type. So because there is no meaning in typing the same code again and again, right? So we already written the button. So let's simply copy this button and let me write uh, go back go back to view one, for example. Okay, so on back to view one. I'll save it. Now let us see we get this button or not. So if you click this button, you will land up in the view two, yeah, and there is a button go back to the view one. But when you click on this, nothing will happen because we have not written any logic. So let's write the logic. So let's copy this function, and can anybody tell me where should I implement this function? Where should I write the logic for this function?
view to controller.
View to controller, that's nice. Okay, so let me keep this one here. And And for going back also, you can use this statement anyway and simply write root view 1. So save it and simply refresh your application. Now let us see if the navigation happens from first view to the second view. So I refreshed with this URL, so it landed up in the view 1. But anyway, I will just remove this and will load it again. Now it will land up in the view 1. So click this button and you are on the second view. And again, click on go back to the view 1 and you can see you are on the view 1. Not only that, observe the URL. So the URL is gone. The second view pattern is gone. Okay. So however, you can go back to the previous page by using this particular statement as well. But you no need to write this statement for back navigations. So remember, whenever you want to go back, only for forward navigation, we write this dot get owner component dot get router dot nav to. But for back navigations, simply use this particular statement history.go -1. So use this particular statement for any back navigation. So do not use this particular statement. I will tell you the reason why we should not use the previous statement, this dot get owner component and all. Yeah, so let's click on this. You landed up in the view 2 and click on go back to the view 1 and you landed up in the view 1 as well. Right, now what this particular statement will do, your router maintains a history. So whenever some navigation happened, it maintains the history and it know what is the previous page. So it will simply take you to the previous page. You no need to write this statement at all. There is a significant reason why I'm telling you to use this particular statement only for back navigations. I will tell you the reason. Let's say there are 3 views. So this scenario already a real-time scenario. It's not just an example. This is V1, view 1, and this is view 2, and this is view 3. Let's say there is a button on the view 1, there is a button on the view 3 as well. On click of this button also you can go to view 3. On click of this button also you can go to view 3. Okay. Now on the view 3 there is only one button which is called back. Now client said if I click on back I need to navigate to the page from where I have come. Did you understand the requirement? This is a back button. On click of the back button, I should not go to view 1, I should not go to view 2. I should go to the page from where I have come. If I come to view 3 from view 1, then I need to go to view 1. If I have come to view 3 from view 2, then I need to go to view 2. For this scenario, on click of the back button, can you write this statement? If you write this statement, you can go to only one particular view, either view 1 or view 2. But if you write this statement, you will simply fall back into the same view from where you come. You have come. Got it? So that's the reason for any back button. So please write history.go -1. Okay. So that's the recommendation as well. But if your client requirement is normally that no client will ask you something like that. If the client requirement is on click of the back button, you definitely need to go to one particular view only. It does not matter, even though you come from view 2. So let's say you come from view 2 to view 3. So on click of the back button, let's say the client say, you need to go to view 1 only. Only in that case, you need to write this particular statement because the client want a significant navigation to a particular view. Okay, but let me tell you, those kind of requirement will not be there in the real time. So this is the way to go. All right. Now, the last part of today's class. Today, I will little urgency to office, so the client has come. They asked us to be there by 9 o'clock. So I thought to keep the class at 7 to 8, but I did not get a response from all the people. So I do not want to trouble the students. So I will just adjust with 40 minutes class for today. All right. The forward navigation buttons can be kept inside the content area. So from view 1 to view 2, that is forward navigation. So you can keep this button inside the content area. But any back button, means back navigation button, should not be kept inside the content area. Okay, so it should be kept in the header level. So this area is called header. So you need to keep the back navigation buttons in the header level. So how we will keep, I will show you with the already developed application, then you will understand. Let it open. Yeah, so I opened employee management. So for example, I went to the view 2, and this is called the back navigation button. So any back navigation button should not be present within the content area. So we created the back navigation button, that is to go back to the view 1 inside the content area, which is wrong. So this is the initial class. We need to understand the navigation. So I have kept this button inside the content area, but any back navigation button must be represented with a arrow mark like this in the header area. So this is called the header area, and here we have kept the back navigation button. And when you press it, you will go to the first view. Now let us see how I can keep this kind of back navigation button instead of a the typical button like this. You need to go to the view 2 and remove this button, not required. So I'm just commenting it. Control slash is the shortcut name to comment. Right. So on the page tag, there is a property called show now button. So third property, show now button, and you need to give true here. So once you give show now button equal to true, you will get a button automatically, which is called the back navigation button. See, on the view 2, you already got this particular button. So to get this button, you don't need to write any code, but you just need to, on the page tag, you just need to enable this property show now button equal to true. But this particular button will not do anything even you click on this button until unless you assign an action for that. So just wait. Now I'm pressing this button. Is it taking me to the view 1? No, it is not taking me to the view 1. Why? The reason is you shown this button, that's all. But on press of this button, what should happen? That we have not written. Okay, so this we need to write. So that the action name is, if it is a normal button, the action name is press. This is a back navigation button, so the action name is now button press. Okay, automatically suggestion has given, so you can use the code completion. Now you can assign the same function here. So when you press this button, back navigation button, so this action will trigger and this function will be called. And inside this function, we have written the same history.go-1. It's already there, so it will do its job. Now let us run this application from the first view. Now let us see the navigation from view 1 to the view 2. So click on this, you will land up in the view 2, and click on the back button, you will land up on the view 1. So this is how the navigation between the views should be done by the use of buttons. Okay, so that's all for today. If you have any questions, you can ask me now. Otherwise, you can leave for today.
Sir, I have a question, but
Yeah,
better we'll continue tomorrow. That will, because you have to hurry up to office today.
no problem. You ask your
No,
question.
sir, we have a app view. In that we have a container, and in that container we are loading view one, view two. Okay.
Yes.
How we have two views? Then how system knows we have to load view one first instead of view two?
That is what is router is doing, right? So when your
Okay.
application loads, the pattern is empty. I have given one example
Okay.
of rizwansoftsoul.co.in. So
Okay.
rizwansoftsoul.co.in is a domain name. It does not have pattern. When your application loads, pattern is empty. So when empty pattern, the router will load the target view one, and target view one is loading view one. Okay.
Okay.
When the
All
pattern is
depends on the
changing,
pattern.
whenever there is
Okay.
a pattern is changed, or if you are significantly calling a root name, even if you change the pattern also, router will call the target. Or even if you instruct the router to select this root name and go, then also it will call the target.
In
That
this
is what
case,
we discussed.
if we make the view one pattern uh, to be non-empty and the view two pattern to be
View 2 will
empty,
get loaded. Yeah, view 2 get loaded.
view two get loaded. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Obviously. See, whatever the
Yes.
pattern is empty, that view it is going to load.
Okay.
Okay, if you want, you can experiment. It will load.
Okay. Yeah. Sir, can we get this code file downloaded and shared to us, because some this is new facing problem, so that's why I want to refer it.
Yeah, sure, I will give, no problem. Okay. Uh, but it will be little delay may happen.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
by the way, do you have
We can
any
do
other
it from
questions,
tomorrow.
by the
We
way?
can do it from tomorrow.
Yeah. So today, you just check the video and try to type the code. Uh,
Okay.
I have not written much code as well. Okay, fine, guys. Shall I close the session?
Sure, sir. Sure. Sure. Sure.
Yeah. Thank you all. Bye bye. We'll meet in tomorrow's
Thank you.
class.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Same to you.